You're listening to BioTalk with Rich Bendis, the only podcast focused on the biohealth capital region. Each episode, we'll talk to leaders in the industry to break down the biggest topics happening today in biohealth.
Hi, this is Rich Bendis, your host for BioTalk, and we have a very unique BioTalk today where we have three participants that are going to talk about a very new, exciting innovation district which the listeners can help name, I understand, that is emerging in Northern Virginia in Prince William County. And we have three primary leaders of this innovation district that are going to be on this podcast. We have Jehan Park, who's the founder and CEO of NAUGEN, which is in Reston, Virginia. Amy Adams, the executive director of the Institute for Biohealth Innovation at George Mason University. And Amy is also on the Biohealth Innovation Board, and we love the name of her innovation center at GMU. And we have Christina Nguyen, executive director at the Prince William County Department of Economic Development. So welcome to all of you to BioTalk. Basically, the way we start here is we normally have our participants introduce themselves, so we're not going to change that at all. So you basically can tell more to the listeners about yourselves and how you got to where you are and why you're doing what you're doing than I could. So I'm going to start with Jehan Park, founder and CEO of NAUGEN. Jehan, please give the listeners a little bit about your background.
Hello, I'm Jehan. I'm CEO of NAUGEN. NAUGEN is a global innovation accelerator. We are focused on identifying novel, advanced, unprecedented technologies. Now, we call it NAU now. And it's transformative innovations, mainly in biotech and medtech and digital technologies. But we also look for technologies in AI and quantum computing and those deep tech technologies. We believe in convergence and innovations. The interdisciplinary sciences and technology merged into great innovations. And we believe that innovations are everywhere. I'm originally from South Korea, and I'm a scientist in nature, but I was trained a business in a global consulting company called Accenture. Accenture is a technology and business consulting firm. And I was lucky to serve great companies like Samsung, LG, and SK, those global conglomerate in high-tech space. I had nothing to do with biotech at that time. I majored in physics. But after that, I joined a startup company developing botanical drug based on plant stem cell. They isolated plant stem cell for the first time from rare plant species, and they collaborated with University of Edinburgh. And they established a culture for really next generation CMC technology and use those for cosmetics and botanical drugs and many different areas. So that fascinated me, how we can really create science and technology derived from nature. And I was in love with those universe and physical sciences and math and divine wisdom behind it. But I think the biotech and pharma is really a great area to apply those physical science and bioinformatics, all different things. So I did a master's degree in biotechnology. And after the startup company, I joined Genexin, a biotech company developing novel therapeutics, mainly the DNA vaccine, a gene vaccine for cancer diseases like cervical cancer or cervical intraepithelial neoplasia, which is a pre-cancer of cervical cancer. They have a world first gene vaccine. And also they had long-acting platform called hybrid FC technology. So we developed the longest acting human growth hormone and GCSF and EPO and commercialized it. I was involved with strategy and business development. I joined the company when the company had a value of $100 million. And after developing the global strategy and establishing deals with pharma in Korea, in Asia, and Europe, and United States, and building collaboration with big pharma, the company value went up to over $2 billion. And they decided to spin up a new company in the United States. So I became the CSO, Chief Strategy Officer of NeoImmuneTech, because they use their high FC long-acting platform technology for interleukin-7. So we built a company in Rockville, Maryland, and the name of product was Hyleukin. And at first, when we introduced this technology in infectious disease as a vaccine adjuvant, not many were interested. So we couldn't get a chance to meet with big pharma or big investors. But I decided my strategy to meet with scientists, showing my scientist nature. So I met with all these big guys in immuno-oncology science and infectious disease. And I met with Meg Cheever, the last Meg Cheever in Fred Hutch. And he was very fascinated about our science. And we spent a couple of hours when we first met. And he introduced his cancer vaccine idea and how he is interested in interleukin 7. And that relation really expanded all the other possibilities with Big Pharma, because Meg was kind of advocate about technology. And I also met with a lot of other scientists interested in interleukin 7 and who have studied in interleukin 7. And that really helped me really excited and contribute to not only R&D and clinical development, but also business development and investment. And we raised about $200 million on that single product company. And that's pre-IPO. And I forged collaboration and partnership with Big Pharma, Merck, Roche, and BMS. And they provided free drug worthy of $80 million. And we built collaborations with those companies. And also I identified a new non-oncology opportunities called acute radiation syndrome, ICL, like idiopathic CD4 deficiency. And through that, I met with BARDA, and I was connected with Rick Bryant at the time, the head of BARDA. And I was connected with White House Task Force at time of pandemic. So I was playing the role of connecting the Korean government and US government at time of pandemic. So those kind of small ripple effect, butterfly effect in chaos theory really made this company with great scientists here in the United States. And the company went IPO 2021 and reached a value of over $1 billion. So this experience really made me think, wow, one product can make a huge impact and create a great value. And this product came from South Korea. And it's a single product company from the company with platform. So I founded NAUGEN 2017, and I fully joined as a CEO 2020. And now leveraging my experience in strategy and business development and deep understanding of science in biotech, even in high tech, my experience in high tech. And I think this is a time of physics, like quantum computing and AI and mathematical sciences. They are all needed in biotech. I don't think we have to go to university yet, leveraging this technology. There's a lot to do and a lot of unmet medical needs in biotech field, biomedical. So I'm really interested in using those high technology and information technology in biotech and developing novel therapeutics and new medical device. And I was very lucky to meet Amy and Christina, and they trusted in me and gave me opportunity to run NISA program, Northern Virginia International Soft Landing Program. So we just launched this accelerator program and recruiting international companies and international collaborations into Northern Virginia. And we are a new co-model, and we'll found a new companies, whether it be a spin-off or joint venture or academic spin-off. We'll build and accelerate those companies.
Great. Thank you, Jehan, for that introduction. And what I like about your background is you were in Rockville and now in Northern Virginia. So you've been in both parts of the biohealth capital region and understand the benefits and the assets that exist throughout the whole region. So we'll talk more about that later. Next, Amy Adams, Executive Director of the Institute for Biohealth Innovation at George Mason University. Amy, intro, please.
Yeah, so just very quickly, I have a background in biomedical research and was always interested in building programs. So built a few programs around workforce development in the life sciences and other technology areas. And back in 2017, I was asked to build the Institute for Biohealth Innovation. I know you love the name, Rich, at George Mason University. And we had money from the state. And part of the language from the state was to grow the biohealth ecosystem. So I knew it wasn't just looking at the research at the university, but also thinking about how can we leverage the deep expertise, some of our incredible core facilities to really stimulate growth in our economy. I've had a great history of working with Prince William County and now City of Manassas, which just kind of naturally fed into this innovation district. and really leveraging. One of the other things I do, Rich, you had mentioned my seat on the board for Biohealth Innovation, which I absolutely love, and also serve on the board for the Association of University Research Parks, which has really been an inspiration learning from others around the United States on what can be done so that we really can model against those that have done so much in developing new economic impact for their communities.
Thank you, Amy. We're going to talk a lot more about GMU as well as its role in the district here in a second. But Christina Wynn, Executive Director at the Prince William County Department of Economic Development. Christina, your background.
Good morning, Rich. Thank you for having me. So I have about 30 years of economic development experience working in all sorts of different communities, from urban environments to more suburban and rural areas. And I think my passion lies in creating jobs for the local community and that capital investment, because when you're thinking about a community, generating that increased commercial tax base goes back directly into the schools, the parks, and the quality of life. And so I feel like what we do here in economic development is really improve the residents' quality of life. Just last year, we had over $9 billion worth of new investment, almost 1,000 jobs created and retained, and about 2.2 million new square feet that was constructed. So I know that goes back directly to our residents and really makes their lives a lot better. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. 9 billion is a real number.
It's a real number.
Yeah, that's a real number. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we're going to talk a little bit about how the three of you came together around this innovation district, but let's focus on some of the priorities for each of your organizations now. And then we'll get into a little bit about how this innovation district evolved. But I'm going to start with Amy. Amy, why don't you talk a little bit about what the Institute for Biohealth Innovation's role is at George Mason?
Absolutely, Rich. So for the Institute for Biohealth Innovation, we support over 300 faculty and students across 34 academic disciplines doing biohealth research, really recognizing that multidisciplinary approach to research is what's going to drive innovation. Some key areas within the Institute are cancer and infectious disease, as well as mental health and other brain and behavior focal areas. Not only are our scientists doing work at the bench, but they're also developing new technologies and translating them into the market. Really nice examples of this is Ceres Nanosciences, one of the local startups here in Prince William County, and several others. Actually, the majority of the university's IP is in the life sciences, which is really, really exciting. And again, is a stimulus for knowing that this is a really great path for establishing the innovation district. Beyond that, we also have core facilities where we can support not only research at the university, but also with partners around the region and around the globe, quite frankly. So we have a regional biocontainment lab where we can do BSL-3 and ABSL-3 work. It's the only NIAID-funded biocontainment lab in the network in this region. There are 12 across the United States. We also have a new Class 1000 clean room and fabrication facility, as well as a CAP-CLIA accredited laboratory where we can move products from the bench to hopefully 510K approval in a much faster pace.
Those are very interesting and distinct assets, and I think that a lot of the listeners may not be aware of. So we'll talk a little bit more about those and give you an opportunity to promote some of these assets so people can take advantage of them, Amy. Jehan, talk a little bit deeper into NAUGEN and talk about what your primary functions and programs are within your accelerator.
NAUGEN, as I introduced a little bit in the intro, we are looking for innovative technology, mainly in biotech and medtech area. And we have been providing strategy and business development consulting and provide a network with big pharma investors. But we have been also designing accelerator program, and also we define ourselves as global innovation accelerator. And our company is moving from a consulting firm to accelerator firm and then venture capital. So to initiate the accelerator program, we are teamed up with George Mason University, and based on the funding of Virginia, we launched this Northern Virginia International Soft Landing Program. And we will find innovative companies and recruit them. This is kind of pitch competition and evaluation-based program. So we'll select about 15 to 20 companies in every cohort annually. Then we'll just evaluate, and the evaluation board will be experts with experience with big pharma and big investors and the scientists. And we'll identify and narrow down the group of companies into small, like 5 or less, and help them really self-fund in the United States, in Northern Virginia, in Prince William County Innovation District. And we believe that self-funding is really dependent on many different things. Like there's a visa problem, and they need to have strategy, business, science, and regulatory, and even manufacturing. And the most important part is funding or grant. So without the additional funding, or if they don't have the fund from themselves, they need to get external funding, most likely from the United States. So we will help them to get the funding from U.S. investors or get the grant from U.S. government or state government. So that's the prime focus of this accelerator program.
And just to clarify for people who are listening, is it only for international companies and anywhere in the world, or is it also for other domestic companies that don't reside in this region?
Exactly. The main focus is international companies, and it can also include non-Virginia company, like outside of Virginia. And also it can include Virginia company in case they collaborate, they partner with international companies. So it can be basically any organization across the world. But what we prefer is to build a new co in Northern Virginia, in Prince William County, and try to bring in technology from different regions. I believe in, I said, convergence and collaborations and bringing components from different organizations. But we build one full product, one asset, or one platform. So it could be multinational and multi-organizational efforts.
Thank you for that clarification. Christina, economic development comes in many flavors, and it's different in every district, city, county, state, country. Talk a little bit about some of the unique programs that Prince William County has to offer to some of these emerging companies.
Sure. We do come in lots of flavors, but delicious flavors for sure. So our focus with the Innovation District is really about site readiness and business attraction. And what I like to say is breaking down barriers so that we can make for a smooth landing. There's a lot that goes into companies coming into an area and trying to set up shop, especially on any sort of permitting front and so forth. And that's where we really come and specialize. The county actually within the Innovation District lies Innovation Park, which is the original 1,500-acre industrial park. And we still have about 100 acres that the county owns in the park. And so we really facilitate attracting the right companies that complement the district, complement the industry sectors that we are targeting, and also looking for companies that want to partnership with the university, right? So they're not just wanting to be there, but they're wanting to actually give back and be part of that ecosystem. So it's exciting. And, I'm like a blocker, I guess. I just kind of tackle everybody so that the quarterback can run through. I don't know. You know what? Football is not my best analogy.
Well, you basically want to tackle them and not let them leave Northern Virginia, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but you mentioned sectors. What are your primary sectors that you're focused on at this time, Christina?
So within the Innovation District itself, it is obviously biohealth and life sciences, but we also are semiconductor advanced manufacturing, data infrastructure and cybersecurity, and then aerospace and aeronautics, because of within the Innovation District, we have the Manassas Regional Airport, which is largest general aviation airport in Virginia, and it is in the process of actually adding commercial service. So in about 2 years, there will actually be flights that you can go to different destinations in the United States from airlines. So very exciting.
Pretty exciting. So basically all of the sectors you've mentioned are strengths within Virginia too. So new people can build on the existing assets that already exist there.
Yes, but I would say that we have really strong clusters. So they may be targets for all of Virginia, But each one of those industry sectors were very intentional because we already have a cluster and we have all the important assets and infrastructure to support that growth.
So we've been talking about this innovation district, which is yet to be named. And let's talk about its evolution. How did it come together? Whose vision was it? Was there a proposal that was made to get some funding for this? Who's providing some of this seed capital for the district? And I'm going to start with Amy on that.
Sure. Well, let me start, Rich, by talking about what is an innovation district, right? Because that can also become a buzzword. And I mentioned the Association of University Research Parks, and we're really leveraging the best practices from there to develop that. And so what an innovation district is, it's a physical environment anchored by either a research university or a federal lab or nonprofit lab that's really responsible for driving the growth and generation of companies, the attraction of companies, and the retention and growth of companies that are here. Also the attraction and retention of talent. And so we are leveraging those best practices to do this. And how we got started, number one was existing strong relationships between the university, the county, the city, and the local companies. So we brought our companies together and local government leadership, as well as a university and Northern Virginia Community College, to say, here's what an innovation district is. Are you interested in developing that here? And can you help us vision? And there was an overwhelming interest. And so that led us to develop a planning grant that was awarded by Go Virginia. We worked with our consultant, Stiletto, to deliver a final concept report in January of 25. Used those findings to do some local fundraising. We had several companies become founding members and provide philanthropy. The county and city put in money as well as matching funds for a Go Virginia grant that was awarded. So between the Go Virginia grant and our match, we have a little over $4 million to develop the district. As you mentioned, we don't have a name yet. We are building the plane while we fly it. So we are actively building and launching programs. This international soft landing is one. We also have some workforce training programs. We have commercialization programs that are running all at the same time that our steering committee and task forces are developing the sustainable governance and finance model that will run after the 2 years, as well as establishing what that name and brand is that we can all be proud and get behind and develops that global and national visibility.
Thank you for that education also on the definition, because there is a lot of confusion about how people position districts, clusters, and innovation around the United States and around the world. But one other thing, Amy, on this district, is it going to be basically governed by different partners who are key members to the district, or will it have its own organization or legal entity at some point?
So that's what our governance and finance task force and steering committee are actively working on now. What it is looking like is it will likely be a partnership, definitely be a partnership between the county, the city, and the university, but will likely be a 501c3. And so again, we're just figuring out that path right now and happy to share more once we have that.
Great, thank you. And then Christina, of course, it's located within Prince William County, so the county played a major role. So talk a little bit about what the interest the county had in being a partner in this district and what kind of leadership the county helped provide to get it to where it is today.
So I think that where we really saw the opportunity is that we recognize that when you bring all these partners and all these pieces together, it really amplifies the strengths. And so we can leverage more together. A lot of times businesses don't see boundaries. And so the idea that the Prince William County and the City of Manassas are actually working directly together with the university, that's huge, because a company will look to see what that ecosystem is, and it goes beyond usually jurisdictional boundaries. And when you look at what the county did, I think we worked hand in hand partnership with the university to help provide funding. We provided direct funding, not only in the first grant, but in the second grant, but also staff support, because a lot of work goes into planning and thinking about all of these things and executing. And so you need those resources. And then I would say we gave a great opportunity for the connection to the business community. Let me just say one thing. One of the reasons why this innovation district works really well is the university and Prince William County has had a really long relationship over probably 25 years of working hand to hand, specifically in this biohealth area. I've never, in all my experiences of economic development, I've never seen where a jurisdiction and a university work so closely on building out these different pieces and work seamlessly. And so it's really special. And I think when companies come here, they see that it's a different place and they see how we work hand to hand. It's not just in the name. It is a true partnership.
And private-public partnerships are going to become much more important in the future because we understand there's strains right now around funding from some of the public sector. So trying to get industry engaged and academic institutions in private-public partnerships, I think is critical for the success and long-term sustainability of these types of entities. And then Jehan Park, founder and CEO of NAUGEN, you had an opportunity to put NAUGEN anywhere in the country. So why is it that you selected this area in Northern Virginia for NAUGEN to be headquartered?
Actually, when we found a neoimmunotech, the leading biotech in DNA vaccine and long-acting platform and biologics company based in South Korea, had to decide which area they have to go. And there was San Francisco and Boston. Many people wanted to vote for it, but I strongly vote for the DC metro area. DC metro, including Maryland, Northern Virginia, and DC. I think this area is very unique and emerging biotech hub because it's already number 3 biotech hub and fastest growing. And for Southlanders, I'm one of the Southlander myself. If you go to San Francisco and Boston, it's good to have office and lab there and have a good network. But you have to bring your family. You have to live here. You have to educate your kids here. So the cost of living is very important. School system is important. And climate is important. So I think this region is the best place in all these kind of aspects. And we can bring many excellent, intelligent Southlanders and foreign experts to come here and grow company here and make next Genentech or next NVIDIA or next Facebook or Meta. So I think Silicon Valley has been playing that role, but I think the cost of living and all these prices and environment is pretty much saturated and went up too high. So it's very difficult for you to bring your members from outside of the city. So I believe this region is the best place for those soft landing program and founding new companies. And also, like Silicon Valley thrived, I think this area will be next Silicon Valley. So I want to define it as a quantum valley. Silicon Valley is not all about high tech or semiconductor or IT, but this is hub for biotech and San Diego and different areas. Likewise, I think Quantum Valley can include many different fields like biotech. So what do you use quantum computing for? Like I mentioned, biotech and aerospace and defense technology. And I think the next technology and industry is about interdisciplinary convergence. So biotech, bioinformatics, and next generation computing and AI, I think everything is here, right? And it's best place to influence the policymakers and discuss with the governmental organizations. FDA is here and NIH is here. So, and very great high-skilled human resources.
Yeah, basically, Amy has something to add, but I think the economic development professionals here love you because you're like the Chamber of Commerce talking about all the different assets in the region. But if you're going to form a next NVIDIA, let me know so I can get in to be one of the early investors in that, Jehan, okay? Amy, I know that you want to add on to this, please.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Rich, that this really makes me reflect on what you have done to grow this region, to grow the visibility of this being a competitive biopharma cluster and branding this as the biohealth capital region. So really appreciate you. And I think the Innovation District fits so nicely into what you have worked with all of the businesses and governments to create here.
Well, thank you very much, Amy. But as you know, it takes a village, and this is a part of the village that we're working with to continue to enhance and grow the biohealth capital region. So Let's talk a little bit going further now and deeper into this innovation district. Let's talk about some of the programs that you see will be unique to this district and what will attract people to come to the district other than the natural assets that we've been talking about from all three of you. And Christina, I want to start with you and then we'll go around the horn.
Sure. I think that companies that will be attracted to this district are going to benefit from the fact that we have over 100 startups. We have academia, tier one research university. We do have some federal agencies. We have major corporation companies that are all really combined in a ecosystem that all of the partners want to support and really nurture companies to help them grow and expand. We want to see them succeed. And so I think companies will see that all of these assets that we have put together that are very intentional that we think about, when we see a gap and we say, okay, we know that companies need customers or they need access to government. All right, how are we going to address that? And is there programs or efforts that we can do to help smooth that landing per se? So I think companies will find that a very special place and very unique to other areas.
So if people want to learn more about it now, how do they get in contact? Who's the primary person that they communicate with related to the Innovation District at this time?
So if you're looking for a single point of contact, it's probably easiest to reach out to me. But I would say, regardless of that, Christina and Patrick Small from City of Manassas and all of our partners are really working hand in hand. So any inquiry, but again, reaching out to any of us is certainly viable as well. Would you agree, Christina?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So in a true partnership, they can talk to anybody, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. Amy, anything you want to add about some of these unique aspects here?
Yeah, and thinking about the programming, some of the things that we are thinking about, what can we deliver that companies really need? As Christina mentioned, right, we've been working with the county for several years. When companies come in, really rolling out the red carpet, creating those connections with faculty at the university, core resources, et cetera. And so one of the things that we've integrated into the Innovation District is one-on-one tech mentoring and mentoring by others in the community. So creating those opportunities for the startups and other companies to be able to meet with experts. We have a series of commercialization programs, again, to be able to share information on specific topics that companies really need access to grow. And another thing that I think makes our area special, and really special at George Mason specifically, as well as Northern Virginia Community College, is that anytime a company comes here, the first thing they ask about is talent, right? Is there a talent to fill the jobs that I need to grow? And so not only are we offering aligned degree programs at both Northern Virginia Community College and the university and having conversations with companies to learn what do we need to include in that programming to make sure that the students are gaining access to skills that they need to thrive in these companies. We're really responding with new micro-credentialing and other certificate courses to begin to train that talent on specific skill sets that they need without having to go that full degree path if it's not necessary. Another program that we are launching in the Innovation District that I think really distinguishes us, and we're creating that and building that out right now, is a buy local district. So we want to make sure that we're connecting startups and entrepreneurs with larger companies, with government and academia to be able to either pilot some of their products or be able to sell locally.
Thank you, Amy. And one of the other programs that's going to be unique to the district is the NISA, an NISA program that NAUGEN is starting with Yehan Park. Yehan, talk a little bit about the NISA program.
Yeah, the Innovation District has all good things, but there's an interesting Korean saying. The translation is that many jewels are not treasure until they are threaded together. So I think there are a lot of jewels here, and they just mentioned.
So you're going to try to build necklaces and bracelets of all these jewels,
and make it valuable. Yeah. So that's our role, because we are private and we are in a commercial area and we are more dynamic. So like you mentioned, industry and academia and the government collaboration is really important and critical here. And NISA program is symbolic and very meaningful in that sense as a growth engine of innovation district, I believe. And I want to contribute to that aspect. So we want to make it very practical. And instead of just giving educational program and just a annual program, we want to make those companies leverage this program to actually self-land in the United States and found a new co or their branch or whatever legal entity in the United States and make them receive funding or grant and let them grow. So that is the program and very practical. And as a commercial accelerator, and we have great network of accelerators and venture capital and big firms, and we will make them partnership with those ecosystem and partners there and actually make them grow. So it's annual program. It's not really an isolated program, but those companies that went through and graduated from the program and who was selected, and those companies will get investment. And we have like Virginia Catalyst, we have VIPC, and we have also commercial investors. And NAUGEN is also actively planning to establish our own venture funds from multiple money sources. And recently, Korean government made decision to invest $200 billion in pharma and quantum computing and many high-tech area. And they're looking for projects. And I think this is an excellent opportunity to raise innovation funds between Korea and US. There's a Japanese investment and there's European investment. So we have right vessel to hold those capital to propel the innovation and growth of these great companies. I think this is the best place. The DC Metro or Northern Virginia is a great place to provide ecosystem to those international innovators.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about the requirements for companies to apply to NISA. How do they apply or register to try to become a part of the program? And basically, do you have a deadline that you have for when you're going to try to choose your first cohort of companies to be involved with your NISA program?
We targeted end of this year because we have JP Morgan Healthcare Conference upcoming and CES. So I'm going to go to CES and JP Morgan. So if anyone comes to that events, then we can actually meet them if there's any interest. And deadline of final application would be January 25. That's going to be Sunday, but by the end of the night, you can apply for this program, and then we'll evaluate you and let you know whether you are selected. Then we'll initiate the phase one of the program. Phase one will be the pitch competition and mentoring, and phase two will be actual soft landing. In the phase two program, I think Mason Enterprise and many Virginia organization or GMU, Georgia Mason University related organization can join in to support. It's not only us, but it's a group of mentors and advisors in the accelerator program. So yeah, if they can find us in the internet, we have LinkedIn post and you can send me email or there's an application website. It's very simple. You can just fill out a few fields and attach your IL deck. It's all about it. And we'll actually meet you virtually and do evaluation.
One of the unique things you mentioned, the Korean government, and we've had an opportunity to work with them through some other mentoring programs, but they were one of the first countries in the world to recognize biohealth as a new terminology for the life science or the biotechnology industries because of the convergence that's happening between pharma, biotechnology, vaccines, medical devices, and then adding in AI, quantum, and machine learning. It's really that convergence which really makes that biohealth terminology much stronger. And I really respect that Korea basically endorsed that and adopted that very early on. So it's a very nice synergistic way for the Korean government to interact with the Institute for Biohealth Innovation, the Biohealth Capital Region, and what you're trying to build in Northern Virginia. So that's just a little sidebar, but I think that there's a lot of synergy there that can take place between what the Korean government has identified as one of their priority industries within the whole country and what we're trying to build here within our region. So I think we've had a very good introduction to this innovation district from our three participants. Jae-Han Park, founder and CEO of NAUGEN, Amy Adams, executive director and Institute for Biohealth Innovation at GMU, and Christina Nguyen, the executive director at the Prince William County Department of Economic Development. So I'm going to let each of them now close by giving some closing comments on things that we didn't talk about that they'd like the listeners to know about. And basically, it's a free flow here, Christina. So you can basically go with whatever you'd like the listeners to know that we haven't discussed yet, that they'd like to know about Prince William County or the district.
Sure. I want to disclose that if companies are listening to this and that they can see themselves really being a part of this ecosystem, definitely reach out either with Amy or Jehan in the NISA program. But we're here. We want to help companies really get integrated. And we're looking for those companies that, as you said, in this biohealth, this intersection that want to do something great. And those are exactly the types of partners. And I think we would do everything we can to help them be successful.
Thank you. If anybody wants to get a hold of you, how do they get you, Christina?
Sure. My contact information is cmwin@pwc.gov.
Great. Thank you. Jehan, closing comments from your side.
Actually, I didn't give all the details of benefits of NISA program, like providing 6 months free office and laboratory and help you establish U.S. legal entity and warm introductions to venture capitalists and big pharma and so on. And there are many. So please check out our website of George Mason University, Biohealth Innovation, or NAUGEN. Or you can directly reach out to me, jpark@naugen.com, jpark@naugen.com.
And spell NAUGEN for everybody, please.
NAUGEN.com.
Great. Thank you, Jehan. Last but not least, Amy, is there anything we missed, or do you want to close and sell everybody on George Mason and the Innovation District in Northern Virginia?
Thanks, Rich. And thanks for hosting this. Really excited to have the opportunity to share information about the Innovation District and this signature program. The NISA program is one that we're super excited about and couldn't think of a better partner to lead that. Really appreciate Jehan's expertise in the sciences, in business, and also in international business, which is really, I think, the impetus for why this is going to be a successful program. I would say from that program, one additional benefit from our Go Virginia grant is that the companies that land here will also have funding to be able to access some of our core facilities in collaboration with our researchers. We want to make sure that they're not only landing here, but they're staying here and they're growing here. I had mentioned this. This is for the international soft landing companies or anybody who chooses to come to the district. We want to roll out the red carpet. We want to make sure that they have what they need to grow and really enjoy this collaborative environment as much as we do.
Thank you, Amy, for all you do for the Biohealth Capital Region and George Mason and willingness to serve on our board and nationally with the Association of University Research Parks. I know Brian Darmody, one of our partners, is very pleased with your participation. And I understand you're going to be the bean counter for the AURP coming up pretty soon, right?
That's true.
Yeah. New treasurer potentially for AURP. So congratulations. So I want to thank our three guests today on BioTalk. As we've talked to Jehan Park, founder and CEO of NAUGEN, Christina Wynn, executive director of the Prince William County Department of Economic Development, and Amy Adams, executive director of the Institute for Biohealth Innovation at GMU. And I want to thank you all. We're going to follow up with you next year again in 2026 to see the progress of this innovation district when it gets named. And it officially has some governance around it, which will be pretty exciting. And I hope that all of you have a great holiday season for the closing of this year.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to BioTalk with Rich Bendis.